So we're sitting outside of Chonburi Stadium now, we're waiting for the game against Taiport, and looking around here, Dale, it's going to be quite a big crowd today. How does it compare to your first Chonburi home game?
First ever?
Yeah, your first one.
There is no comparison. No comparison at all. I think the people sitting around the few tables here was about the total attendance at that game. That's after I spent about 2 hours driving around the city trying to find the ground. Nobody even knew that there was a football team in Chonburi.
So now we're looking at, what sort of crowd do you reckon we're looking at today?
I would say we'll get over 10. Over 10,000.
Alright. That's
quite easily. I mean, there's a sizeable following from Taiport, which is always nice to see. And obviously the home fans have turned out in force as well, so yeah, quite confident.
Alright, you're having a pretty good season though, this particular season. It's been a while since you've won anything. So, are you a bit surprised that you're doing so well this season?
Yes, I am. Based on our pre-season form, which wasn't that great. And also I think we've fallen behind one or two other clubs in terms of the type of players we can attract. Sack's made a huge difference. I think that for me he's been the key. He inspires those who are playing around him. I think he's got the respect of a lot of the younger lads. Certainly our tip this season has come on leaps and bounds, because he can be sort of drift in and out of games, but he's been a lot more focused this time. Sorry, Kerry?
You made a good point when I was going to refer to that maybe the budgets of places like Wellington United and possibly Bangkok Glass are a bit more than you guys are having, so it's going to be harder for you to compete in the future.
Yeah, I mean the club have already said they're looking at producing homegrown players, which is something they've done in the past. We've got a tradition of doing that. I mean, if you look at the side that's going to be out there today, at least half of them have come through the ranks. They've been at Chonburi since they were 13, 14, which is a good way to do it. And now they're all sort of internationals. I was disappointed we lost out on Nate Fabiano, close season, but again I think if it's a money issue, I think the club, with hindsight, did the right thing, sticking to the guns and not going over budget.
So we talked also about Sack's come in from SAF. I think SAF may be regretting letting him go as well now, but you look at him, he's 37, 38 years old, he's almost our age. Does it say something about the Thai league, or does it say something about his quality? That he's coming to your team and top scored for you?
I think it says a lot about his quality, to be honest. I mean, he obviously looks after himself, which is more than either of us two do.
But can he drink 20 beers in one night?
Probably not. Certainly not be able to run around again the following day. But no, I think he's a model professional. I mean, having seen his influence this season and seen the way he's performed, and I've obviously heard things about how he applies himself in training, I'm very impressed. 36, and I think we've got him on a 1 year contract. Sorry, I'm trying to compete with the firecrackers going off over there. I think
a bit louder.
We can get another season out of him after this. I'll be very happy, especially if he plays to the level that he has been doing.
Tosin, or Sintawi Chai, he left Bandung, first at Bandung, and again he was a hero. After the game, his last game, the fans were on the pitch, they were hugging him, kissing him and giving him flowers and shit like that. How's he done since he come back here?
Brilliantly. He's much better. I mean, we're talking in the day after the Robert Green incident last night, and that reminded me of Coulson the last time he was here. That was the kind of thing that he'd do. He's a good shot stopper, but prone to make silly mistakes. He seems to have eliminated that from his game now. I've got a lot more confidence in him, and so do the back four, which is important. It means they're able to relax and play their game without having to worry what's going to happen. I mean, there were times during his previous spell here when he was a liability, but now he's looked a lot more assured since he came back, which is probably the kiss of death. You watch what happens.
That's right. He'll ship 6 today and all this stuff. Alright, now let's talk about you. First time we met about a year or so ago, actually the same fixture, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
And I remember you saying at the time that you're totally computer illiterate, you hate computers, and you couldn't punch anything into them at all. Now you got it up and running, you got a thriving website. So what happened? Where was your epiphanal moment? I can't say that word later.
Basically what happened was, the lad who used to run the matchday programme last season asked me to contribute a few articles, which I did, and obviously space was always an issue, so sometimes they wouldn't go in, but I was writing all these things that were not always used. And at the same time I was getting messages through the Thai football message board asking me for information about Chonburi, certain players, games from the past, etc, etc. So I just thought, well, I've already made a start, I've got all the information there, I might as well try and put this out. But my typing hasn't improved, I'm still very much one-finger typist, and as for computers, they remain as much a mystery to me today as they did then. I'm absolutely hopeless.
That's surprising. Okay, let's go back to this current season then. You've got Chonburi and Farrington are both again in first and second position in the title race. Last year you called it correctly last year when we spoke, and you said it's going to be the Farrington. What about this year?
It's difficult to see beyond Farrington again, I think. I mean, certainly when the big games come around, as they proved 2 weeks ago, they've certainly got the bottle. I think I was disappointed in us that day. I thought there were one or two of our players who just didn't fancy it. I'm not going to name names, but if you saw the game, you'll probably be able to work out who they were.
Well, we didn't see the game, so give us some names.
Try and track it down. I'm sure they're selling it in their club shop. They tend to get these things out pretty quickly after they beat us. So yeah, it's difficult to see beyond them. I mean, obviously they're a force. I mean, the only thing that possibly could count in our favour is if they continue to do well in the AFC Cup fixture pile-up. But really, I'm clutching at straws there. I'd like to think we can run them all the way, but I'd rather fear they're going to win it again.
It's going to sound like South Africa tonight.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a racket here at the moment. Let's talk about rivalries. You love rivalry, you're an Oldham fan, so you had rivalries with anyone who actually cared about the team, which wasn't that many.
Manchester City.
Yeah.
They care about us a lot more than they let on.
Chonburi, maybe not so much anymore. Chonburi got a few rivalries, haven't they?
We have, yeah.
Some are geographical and some are history.
Yeah.
Very short history. So tell us who your big rivals are. Your hated foes.
My personal ones or the clubs?
Well, both.
Obviously Farrington.
You say obviously, why is that?
Because they're the team who've come in and sort of usurped us, really, if you like. You know, they are the team that we looked like we were going to be 2 or 3 years ago. So obviously there's a big rivalry there. Personally, I have an intense rivalry with, can't even say the name of the team, Pattaya United. I mean, that's got a lot to do really with the fact that they bought their way into the league, which is something I don't approve of at all at any level. And they're local. There are a lot of Chonburi fans who actually will go and watch Pattaya when we aren't playing. I'm not one of them. If they were playing in my back garden, etc. I think that's probably it. There was a bit of a rivalry with PEA following our title run-in 2 years ago, and then obviously there was an incident at their place last season, but now they've moved to Bury Ram, so obviously that little bit of history's gone. But traditionally, I think when we first came up, BEC Terrell were the team that we always wanted to be.
Yeah.
I mean, they sort of, they're not as influential these days, and they're certainly not as big and as successful as they were then. But they were the first team that I remember generating any sort of intense feelings from Chonburi fans.
Cool. All right, I'm going to stop you down. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. We'll just have a beer here.
Thank you.
Cheers, man.